What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys, I want to talk about Rebellion liquidity and why it doesn't matter if it's low. And the main reason for this, to cut to the chase, and then we'll expand upon it further, is because Rebellion supply or lack thereof doesn't matter if there's no Rebellion demand. And that's something that, we'll get into a little bit later in this video. But before we jump into that, I wanted to share with you the current set value for Rebellion. Now, here we are about little under 2 months after the release of Rebellion, and the total set is going for $6,300. Now, I had a video that came out around the time Rebellion had launched, and we were sitting at about 8,000, a little bit more than 8,000, and I was comparing it to remembering Chaos Legion back in 2022 being worth like 10K, right, to get started early on. So we've seen almost a 25% reduction in the total set value, and that I'm not trying to look at that and just point it out as a negative. I think that was to be expected. There was always going to be a premium when cards were at their lowest supply and demand was at its highest. But we've hit a kind of equilibrium now, especially since conflicts have been out, for over a week at this point, and we've had Rebellion on the shelves for almost 2 months. And so, in my opinion, as we move forward, I don't know what the other catalyst might end up being, but we may just see demand, this may just be where demand is right now and where demand stays for the time being. And that's kind of what I want to get into, excuse me, in the second part of this video is 2 months in, and a player like me who loves the game, I play every day, yet I have not needed to get any of the Rebellion cards in order to be competitive at Gold 1, right? And I know I'm still talking about this in the context of the old rank system, or I should say the current ranked reward system that we have, and that there is a new ranked reward system coming up in the future. Again, when that comes out, I don't know. But for the time being, I haven't had the need to go in and buy, a bunch of other Rebellion cards. I can still play with Chaos Legion, which then begs the question, okay, so when will there be a push for Rebellion? If you think about, okay, let's map this out between now and the end of the year, because we have about 11 months now between, end of January going all the way to the end of December or mid-December when not Chaos, but Rebellion is set to burn out, right? If people don't buy it. Now, I've been pushing this for a while. I think that there may be a little bit of a run-up over the summer. I think crypto can do well, especially post-Bitcoin halving in April, and that could potentially push some new players into the game. But let's assume worst-case scenario. Let's say players just never make it, right? Let's say crypto doesn't make it, or maybe Splinterlands just doesn't make it, and we don't see that happen. Really, the only other push that I can see for selling Chaos Packs and people starting to load up on cards is when the set starts to get really, really close to selling or burning out. And that may not happen until November or December. So keep in mind, this will all be in an effort to make sure that you'll be able to play in Modern when the Modern format rotates, right? So obviously there'll be a new set. We don't know what it's called yet. And it'll kick Chaos Legion out to the curb, to Wild, and it'll be Rebellion and whatever this new set ends up being called. And so in that scenario, we may not see demand for a while. And even when we see that upcoming demand, I do think that there's going to be a lot of speculation. A lot of people who are going to look at this and say, let's say we don't even hit 1 million packs by October, November of this year, right? It's just a slow, steady drip. Even with the conflicts, people just top up a little bit here and there, right? Which is kind of what we saw between the launch of Rebellion and once things died down and then the conflicts. It was like 1,000, maybe 2,000 packs per day that were selling. It wasn't very much, right? So if we continue on that trajectory where we're maybe just selling 1,000 packs a day or people top up here and there, we could get to a situation where we're not anywhere close to the 1.5 million. Now, I've said before that I think we're going to hit 1.5 million rather easily, but that's partially due to the fact that there are probably going to be many speculators out there that are like, well, these aren't going to be on the shelves for much longer. let me go ahead and grab some just in case, just in case the bull run kicks off in 2025, or just in case we get some new players coming in, because these cards are going to be the only way that you can get into modern format. And, as I've been saying, I think Rebellion is going to be the Untamed of whatever the new modern format ends up being, right? Or at least for people who are around during the Untamed and Chaos Legion days. If you did not have Untamed, because Untamed was significantly scarcer, you were at a disadvantage just because other people had better cards at their disposal. Well, not just better, but also, other options at their disposal. So as we go forward, I know people talk about the lack of liquidity in Rebellion. And don't get me wrong, I do get excited about that, because if something were to happen, it would happen hard and it would happen fast. But until we actually see signs of that going on, it doesn't really matter, right? We have to wait for that demand to come in. And, the silver lining here is I'm saying even in the worst case scenario, that demand, I do believe, is going to come in at some point in, we'll just call it Q4 of this year, maybe late October, maybe sometime in November, but definitely by December, when all of a sudden there's just not many packs left in the ecosystem, or on the store page for sale. Now, unlike Chaos Legion, at that point in time, if not many packs have sold, I think you'll get people speculating even harder than they did for Chaos Legion. And that's not to say that we're going to mint more than, Chaos Legion. Obviously, that's not even physically possible anymore. But I do think that you'll get a lot of people who will be like, you know what? There's just not enough cards out there. There's just not enough for the players that are currently, in it. And I'm going to go through and just buy a bunch of packs, even if I don't need them, at which point we could see an interesting situation where all of a sudden people have all of these packs. They're just trying to recoup some capital. Maybe they start opening them, and the card prices actually fall down further, right? But either way, I'm quite bullish on us hitting the final number, right? The 1.5 million. I'm still hoping we can get up into the 2.5 to 3 million, but in the worst case scenario, I think it's a foregone conclusion that we will hit that no matter what. But when that demand comes in to actually warrant those packs being purchased, and then of course being, opened up and for the cards underneath, that remains to be seen. That really remains to be seen. And something that I didn't even address here, and I'm just going to say it in passing, is what happens when the conflicts are done too? And all those packs that are just sitting on people's wagons have no additional utility, right? As we know, there's going to be 9 conflicts, each going for about 30 days, and there's 11 months between now and the end of Rebellion. So hopefully they space it out, because I've been saying that I think it'd be great for conflicts to exceed Rebellion in terms of like the time, or surpass Rebellion in terms of the time that they go for. But we'll wait to see how that happens. So that's just my thought for this. I think low liquidity is cool, but it really doesn't matter until we start to see that demand come in. Hopefully we see that over the summer or post Bitcoin halving, but I'm not too worried about it eventually coming in. Even if it's just from the current player base trying to speculate, it will eventually come in, hopefully by the end of the year and by the end of Rebellion being on store shelves. But that is all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.